approval of previous minutes, a motion and a second?
Motion.
I'll second.
Breeze-Courier,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sidwell,
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
I really don't have anything, Board. The fact of the matter is, the Lepshire contract, which I helped Pat with today, and it's here tonight, we'll have to take action on that. I think the other thing that I was going to report on was that resolution, and Doug hasn't had a chance to take a look at it, for that mutual aid in case of an emergency. We haven't, I think ours is outdated, probably when they first, inception, it was about like 2002. So we'll get that to you next meeting. That's all I have. We'll address anything I had in the new business. Unless anybody has any questions.
Okay, the next thing on there is administrative leave of absence without pay for Richard Adams.
Make a motion.
I second it.
To do what?
Without pay.
Without pay.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Is it-
I got a question for you, Dave. We can do that.
I don't know whether the village of Kincaid has actually been notified. I don't know whether
Bruce,
whether Bruce or you have privy to say whether or not the county has been notified by the training. They have not been. I think Hogan, to address what I think you're after is whether or not we should, whether or not we have a right to terminate. And we're not terminating
Just stop it, okay.
with this motion.
well, I think we need to stop too, but now that it's carried on this long, but I just wanted to
Right.
make sure that it is.
I've been keeping in touch with the county sheriff to find out whenever, if Chief Adams is no longer qualified to act in that capacity. At that point in time, then I think it becomes a moot issue that you know, he'll have to be dismissed. But that hasn't happened yet, so tonight, all we're doing, according to the bill, is stop the pay. So he's still gonna be on leave of absence, administrative leave of absence, but he's not gonna continue to get paid. If it passes.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I just want to make sure we can do. We
I
can do
have
that.
one. He gets animal control $250 a month. We're gonna put that to Seth now since he's doing it.
I think we just stop that for a while. But that's my motion,
I feel the same way. We need to stop that till we get things straightened out.
We have to do one thing at a time.
Yeah. Like I say, we need to vote on that first.
Right, unless there's not any,
Okay.
if there's any further discussion, we need to do that.
Breeze-Courier,
No.
Davis,
Oh, yeah.
Williams,
Yeah.
Sidwell,
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
And the other thing is not on the agenda, so we cannot discuss it. The dog catcher.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Pat, you wanted to do truck bid openings?
Yeah, I got the order for the truck bid opening for the Sullivan and tandem dump truck. I believe we had 2 bids. Do you want to open them? Because they ain't been opened. You want me to go ahead?
Go ahead.
All right. First bid. It's for West Sand and Trucking Incorporated, Brent West. That's the tandem, $2,582. The second one, did you get all that, Bevan?
Yes, $2,582 Brent West.
Right. The second one. Is from Bob Michaels, Kincaid Cars. 51, or $5,110.
5,110.
Yeah. That was the only two bids we had.
Need a motion?
My input,
Yeah.
I do want your input.
I wouldn't sell it.
Yeah.
Not for that money.
Huh?
I wouldn't sell it for that kind of money,
I wouldn't.
but I'm just.
Where do we go next then with that, Pat? Where would we go next?
I'll call that outfit out of St. Louis, because he said we could probably put it in that, goes across the United States as a magazine, and we can put a reserve on it, and go that route. He would probably help us sell it as a whole unit, plow and truck. So, if not, we can probably open up an account on eBay and put a reserve in it and see where we go with it. That's a couple options. But my opinion as of right now, I would reject all three.
I make a motion, we don't sell it.
You don't have to make a motion not to do something. So if there's no motion,
Okay, so then,
no second.
Okay, next is the Mike Lebshire contract.
I'll go ahead and talk about Mike's contract. He's been doing that since Dave Spiegel was here, before I started, almost 14 years ago, and he's never had a raise on it. He's been doing it for $750, and the only thing he changed on it was he went to $900. And that's the $900 a month that he gets. So instead of being $750, it goes up to $900.
You kept the hourly rate for any
Yeah,
additional?
everything else stayed the same, $25 an hour after, if it's anything beyond Call of Duty.
And the contract is exactly the same, but for that,
Yeah,
that was the last one. The last one has been expired since February 2013.
Right.
So we dated the contract exactly, everything's the same, but it will commence today if you, ladies and gentlemen, pass it, and it'll go for 1 year, just like we have.
It went from, what did you say, Pat?
750 to 900.
Okay.
And then, a lot of that is the more samples he has to pull, plus everything's getting converted to being on computer, so he has to do his own paperwork and documents on there to file all the paperwork, so it's more time consuming than it was several years ago.
I'll make a motion we pay him the $900.
I'll second.
And will that motion include authorizing the president and clerk to sign off on the contract?
Yeah.
I take it.
Yeah. You made a motion, and what is it?
Yes.
Breezed-Courier,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
sorry about that.
That's all right.
Davis, Sidwell.
Yes.
Corbett, Hogan.
yes.
Okay, Pat, next thing was, motor fuel expenditure.
Yeah, I just need, this is for last year's approval, what we spent last year. We, had put in the books that we was gonna spend $63,148.28, and we only spent $50,415.54, which gave us a $12,732 credit towards this year's motor fuel, so I just need to get approval that we were under budget on last year.
Make a motion. I'll second it.
Breezed-Courier,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sidwell,
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
Okay, Pat, I put on there spring cleanup, but I know you're probably gonna need time to look into that.
Yeah, 'cause I need to get dates to see if you
I just
guys,
wanted everybody, if they still want to do it.
if you wanna do it, and then I can get dates with Clayton for flower sanitation, and go from there for next meeting.
Do you remember what it was, how much it was last year, Pat?
We went through like 3 dumpsters last year.
Was it 3?
I wanna think it was like $2,000 some or something like that.
I mean, they're
We
definitely,
didn't really get a lot of stuff other than mattresses, and now the landfill charges you per mattress, so. I mean, that's mostly the bulk of the stuff that we get. So, like I said, I think the year before, we went through like 4 or 6 dumpsters. Last year was only 3.
Go on ahead.
I say we do it.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a good deal for cleanup.
I second.
So I'll just go ahead and get information for next meeting.
Please.
And it's not.
In a second. Go ahead and have it. Breeze-Courier. Davis.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Sidwell.
Yes.
Corbett.
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
And that I-lease resolution, like David said, we're gonna, I'm gonna table it until I gotta find out if we have $1 million coverage policy before we can go into it, which I think we already do, but we need to make policy before we get into it. And next is the clerk's hours, pays, and duties. What do you guys want to do with it?
Did you ask them did you say what their hours was and everything?
We couldn't. We didn't, well, we couldn't give them any hours because you didn't give us any hours or times or money. We couldn't tell any of them anything.
Did you tell them what their duties would be?
Yeah, they've seen the list, it was in there.
Did you include taking care of all the money? Because see, last time Cindy said there was money missing out of the safe.
She didn't say there was, she wasn't sure, is what
Well,
she
she
said.
said she was, but I got it, I think. So if there was, either she didn't tell the truth, or somebody took it and put it back. So I think the clerk needs to take care of all money.
I agree 100%, because I think the drawer needs to be counted every day, and it's not done that way.
And also, that book to be kept, I think Pat started here the other day, there used to be a book on bulk water. For some reason, it was gone for a couple of years.
It stopped right when Shirley was here, they stopped doing it, once the water machine was paid for. There used to be one for the water machine and also
And the
one for
book,
the other.
yeah.
And once the water machine was paid
So I
off,
think
they
I think
quit
that
doing
book
it.
needs to be taken care of, or, kept updated and read the meter.
It was after I left, so.
I don't know what else, the other guy, that was my 2 main concerns, is, she takes care of whoever's coming, takes care of all money, and keep the books on the thing for sure, on the bulk and the water thing. I think Pat's already doing it,
What's that?
the books on the water, bulk
Yeah.
water.
I made new sheets for
Right.
the binder now, and it balances out to how much we take in.
That's what we always did before, and for
The
some
only,
reason,
the only,
after I left, it
the only
stopped.
difference is
That's what I said.
on the
Somebody
bottled
wasn't doing
water,
their job.
Well, one of the mayors should have been checking into it.
on the bottled water one, because it uses so much water to
Right.
make water, so you lose some of the revenue off of the water of the
Yeah.
bottle because
Right.
it goes through the reverse osmosis process, so you lose some water, but it should be close. And there is a book now for both, and the cashier.
Yeah. The hour now, I don't know, that's whatever these guys must have, I don't know.
Well, I think it should stay the same, 9 to 3,
9 to 3?
a half-hour lunch. Because if they need to pay the water bill after 3, that's what we got that box out there for, not the
Okay.
What's that first hour do to you, Pat?
Uh,
9, did those drop in the box?
I opened up closer to the shut-off date beforehand, because a lot of people that are on the shut-off list need to pay their bill before they go to work.
A lot of them pay cash.
So, yeah, so a lot of them pay cash when we get past the 10th
They
of
do
the month
that.
or 11th. So I always kind of help them out when they're on the way to work, and they need to pay the bill beforehand. So I've always opened it up, or tried to open it up at 8 o'clock or a little after 8 or whatever.
I mean, you're up
I mean,
there.
it don't matter to me what you guys want to do. I mean,
But I mean, is that gonna pull you off the street then, or that hour, or is that gonna,
Well, I'm supposed to run it until noon anyway, according.
I thought we was
Well, and
gonna talk about
what we
switch
did
that.
discuss with each one of them we interviewed is that we want her to learn the clerk's job first. Pat still stays on the water until she learns that job. And then,
Then we'll discuss
then
it.
she can be trained over on that.
That's
Well,
true.
let's go
I
to
agree.
9 to, I say 9 to 3 until, and then we can always change it if Pat's gonna stay on it.
Anybody else's opinions?
I think you should be here from 8 to 4. Get them earlier in the morning and a little bit later in the afternoon.
Debbie, did you make a motion to do the 93?
Yes.
We did have a second.
So did I kinda second it, but then
Can we have a second for discussion?
I'll second the 9 to 3.
Okay.
And until she takes over the water part too. And then we'll discuss it. Huh? Then we'll discuss it, yeah. Well, then we'll decide, but
Yeah.
that's what, so,
You can always change those out.
I mean, because Pat's been here now in the morning anyway. He's gonna be here as far as I know. You're just still open in the morning, right? And-
Yeah, yeah.
So, until she learns her part, so he's gonna be here early before that, till the time comes, then if you wanna change it, then we can do that, that's fine.
I've been staying in there till 3:30, almost 4.
Are we down for discussion? Breezedale?
Yes.
Davis?
Now, this is just on the hours?
This is on the hours, 9 to 3, until she takes over the water part, and then it'll change.
It'll, just, you know, bring
We'll
it for
put it up for
discussion then.
discussion again.
Yeah, I'll go for it right now.
Williams?
Yeah.
Sidwell?
Yes.
Corbett?
Yes.
Hogan?
yes.
The next thing is, did you discuss the pay?
Well, they were looking, I think, pretty much by what was in the paper. We kind of went over that with them a little bit, though.
We kind of went over it a little bit with them, and, you know, 1570
1570?
is what you guys said that night. It's on the
Yeah,
Yeah.
minutes. 1570 an hour.
That's what we said we were kind of looking at, because from what you'd said, but other than that, we didn't know for sure. We couldn't positively do that.
I wasn't here, did we talk about that last meeting?
We talked about it,
Yeah.
Did anybody talk about lowering it, or,
No, the special meeting, they didn't discuss any of that,
okay, 'cause-
hours or anything.
because, I mean, I've had some of the public ask me that, some say it was paid too high.
Well,
I
it's been
mean,
3 years, there was never a raise in there for 3 years. She's been here and never had a raise either.
yeah, but I mean, but there's, I mean, the public's here and they're wanting us to speak their
Depends on
point, and
what
they're the ones saying it,
And what you're
some of them
gonna
are
do.
saying it's too high, so I
I'm
mean,
just saying, you're gonna be adding water to her later too, so it's,
and I know the street department, if they don't start up, you know, they work their way up, right? So, until she learns the job, I mean, do we need to start off a little lower until she learns the,
I gonna start out lower one, just paying the other gal $15 on.
well, if Pat leaves, do we start a new guy off the same rate each one make? We start off a new guy lower and then work up,
If he's done the same job, and can do the same job,
but the street department guy, they're, whenever we're hiring, we're starting. I'm just putting in my input, there's 6 of us here.
I don't know if we do like a probation type thing for the pay until after so many, you know, after a month or, 90 days or whatever, then they get their pay increase.
that's in ordinance form already.
So if we just go that route, I don't see why that would be an issue, but we just need to determine what the pay needs to be for starting off, correct?
where do we start though? What do you wanna start out at, 10?
Fine. Right.
Well, let's go, I'd say,
Yeah, start out at
start at 1270
yeah,
and then,
after 90 days or whatever our ordinance says on 60 or 90 days on probation. I can't remember which way it read. Yeah, I looked at it earlier. Yeah, it's 60 or 90 days and then go to 1570 an hour.
So you want to start at 12,
1270.
1270?
I'll second that motion.
Sidwell, you made it first.
Yes. As long as there's no other discussion on it, everybody else has an issue there.
When you gonna do the 1570 then? When she learns
Three
the,
months.
After 90 days.
or when
After
she
probation.
learns the water thing or what?
Is that part of your motion, Hogan, is what my
What?
question to you is?
I say after 90 days, we discuss if she's at the 15, you know, if she's still struggling or we ain't sure, we can, at the 90 days, she could go up to her 1570.
Yeah, to see how.
But that's then we could,
Probably safer just to do it like
It
you have
shouldn't take
right
her
now.
90 days, so she's,
Depending on what happens.
I mean, anything can happen. I mean,
Anything could happen.
we've seen that. I mean, so what do you say, Sidwell?
I'll need to start.
And then after 90
What
days?
were you saying, or should we or should we not?
It's up to you, but I think that the way you guys are leaning, lady, is let's just set it at 12.
1270, and then after.
There's by ordinance a probation period, and then once that probation period is over, then you can revisit that and.
Discuss it at that point.
Right.
And it may be at that point, if their person is prepared to take on the water department as well, then go from there. Maybe we can get it all done in one shot. If not, at least we'll have a start.
And then once, even after the 90 days, she already has that part down pat. And then we throw the water on her. We're not, that's not including the raise, right? Because we're giving her water, the 1570 is gonna be,
That's gonna be another issue that has to be decided on.
That'll have to be decided at that time.
Yeah.
So because that 450 for the water is in different ordinance.
okay.
There's one for the license and one for the job.
So 1270, after 90 days, we'll,
Visit that and go from there.
The other,
then what they're saying is you had the water, you're gonna have to give her another raise.
you jump her from 1250 to for $15.
But then once she wants the water, you're gonna give her another raise?
No, just two.
You just said they are.
Oh,
No,
Just gonna discuss.
we'll discuss it at that time.
oh yeah, okay.
Okay, okay.
Nothing's set in stone until it's that time.
So does everybody understand it's 1270 for
Yes.
right now? After 90 days, revisit it for the $15.70, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Breezeden,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sidwell.
Yes.
Corbin,
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
It's on the list plus the two bill. Everything we already discussed, the duties, because it's already on that list, plus the bill is added to that, which is what
Well, I think we need, since that's on the agenda, we are certainly able to, Bill, if you want to put that in the form of a motion, I don't think you put that in the form of a motion, the other two duties that you wanted the clerk to deal with. You said handle all the money.
Oh, handle all money?
And you also said bring back the ledger with regard to the bulk.
And keep the book that Pat started, the ledger that he started on the bulk water and on the machine.
And that's the only additions that you would propose to the list that's been circulated around here.
Yeah, that's the two main issues I have.
But is she gonna, David, sorry about this,
No.
but is she gonna start doing the money right now or when she takes over the water?
Why not right now? What's wrong with that?
Because Pat's gonna be in it.
Because Pat's gonna
He'll
be
be
in
in
here,
it.
you still got Pat in here now.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
about this.
Pat's taking all the money right now.
I know that, but that's the problem with having Pat coming in early. You know, that's what we got a Dropbox out there for.
That's what she just said a while ago.
I know, that's what I'm saying, that this is the problem we gotta solve, you know?
Well, we can change the duties at any time at a meeting. I mean, but if that's your motion, if there's a second.
Bill, they'll both pretty much have to be in the box until she learns the job though, right? So, I mean, once she learns it, then we could,
I don't think it's very hard to take care of money.
I'm just saying, there's a lot for her heart right now, because for the payroll, for the IMRF, all the quarterly taxes, all that's due right now. She's gonna be bombarded right now from the situation that we were put in. It's bad.
I mean,
There's accounts that are closed that we can't even get into right now.
Pat, can I ask you, what, is she gonna be able to handle all the money from the get-go?
Well, if I'm gonna be in the office, I mean, when somebody comes in to pay, are you gonna have, I'm just saying, are you gonna have her come step over and say, okay, here, this guy wants to pay $14 on the water bill, you gonna come over and run the register?
See, that's what I'm saying, I don't want her doing that yet until she
So I
learns
think
the
that's
clerk's
what
part.
they're getting at is, until she learns the
Payroll and all that.
payroll and the clerk's part, then once you guys give her the water part, if that's what ends up transpiring, then I'll sign the register over to her as a safe, and she will be full bore on.
That's what I
all
think
mine.
she, that's
Because
my
I think
opinion.
the problem you're gonna run into is if I'm sitting there at the desk and someone wants to pay the water bill, and she's over there doing payroll or whatever, she's gonna have to get up and go over there and just make change for somebody when I'm just sitting there.
And I think just from a procedure standpoint, I think, Bill Davis, that was in the form of a motion, was it not? To add those two, do you want to stick with that motion? Do you want to rescind it? If you don't, if you want to stick with it, we'll see if there's a second.
I'll rescind it right now, but she's gonna have to, whoever it is, gonna have to learn the job, and I can't see why she couldn't take care of the money. It ain't that hard to take the water bill and stamp paid and do the change back.
Well, maybe Pat can handle money till soon that period's over with.
we never did have a motion on it.
Bill Davis made a motion. I asked if this was in the form of a motion. He concurred that it was. I recited what he had talked about earlier. There was not a second. Therefore, I asked him whether or not he wanted to stick with it. He just basically rescinded his motion. There was never a second. Even though we had quite a bit of discussion over it.
Bear with me.
Donation for the Easter egg hunt.
I got one more question back on the
What
other
happened to
thing.
the clerk?
Yeah.
It was brought to me about the safe. Is the clerk the only one that have the key to that then now, from now on?
Pat has one,
You probably got one and the clerk has one?
right here's the clerk's.
Well, that's what do you, I mean, Pat, are you still wanting the key?
Well, I have the safe combination.
The combination.
I run the water stuff right now, so.
You're supposed to hire a
You have
clerk.
to have to get in and out. And there's envelopes in there that checks come in daily in the mail that have to be put in there, put in an envelope and
But
filed.
that's say, so at the end of the night, they'll both sign off on the money that they received, or is it just the clerk?
Well, the clerk will be doing the money that comes in from Judy Bart to Pink and all that. It's on a list. She's always done that. And we explained that to everybody we interviewed, that whole situation on that, how it's listed on that, in the envelope. If there's boat stickers or whatever, Pat's been doing that.
Okay.
They're all listed. It's the name, what number boat sticker, how much it is, if it's a check, how much the check's worth, if it's cash. It's all listed.
I don't think they're gonna be able to do anything with that part of it until the clerk's trained on her job, and then if you guys decide to give the clerk
Okay, I
water,
just-
then either you're gonna give it to
Because
her.
that's just mainly for Beverly's.
It's just coming up later to
But I
hire.
don't see how it's gonna work
Is what
without,
Okay, I didn't know if
It's
there
all
was,
in a manila
Hire a
envelope, it all
clerk
goes
to
in
that.
there into it.
Everything that's put in there is listed.
Are we gonna, can I ask a question? Are we gonna name the gal we're gonna hire tonight or not?
You will answer?
Okay,
Yeah, hold on.
when?
when we get to it.
In a minute.
Okay.
Okay, I'm,
So she is gonna have a key to the safe. Okay.
Because you don't need to use the combination, the battery goes there.
Okay.
Okay, we went through the apps. We discussed, me and Beverly was here for like 5 hours. Interviewed everybody. Monica dropped out of the part-time. She didn't want to do it. Debbie is willing to learn it for free. She's already been learning it. And if she has to step in later or at a later time, if she's not on the board or whatever, she can always do that. That's up to you guys. The top choice was Marla Hodson Got the most qualifications. So, whatever you guys want to do, if you have a different family, go right here. Beverly?
I have a question on the deputy clerk. According to our ordinance, it says the village clerk, when authorized by the village board, may appoint the deputy clerk. So what happens if this clerk here doesn't want Debbie to do that? What if she wants to appoint her own? What are we gonna do? Because that's in our ordinance.
I don't think we're gonna have a problem with it.
I don't know. You know, I'm just asking a
If we
question.
come to that problem, we'll take care of it. Any motion to hire or what?
I'll make a motion to hire Jody Apicito as the village clerk.
It's not Jody.
I'll second
She's not on the top of the list.
I second it anyway.
Interviews.
Well, that wasn't even top of the list, who's choosing the board or you?
We're going by our interviews we did with them. Each one of them we interviewed. We went for that, why we didn't do it if we wasn't gonna do it.
Now,
Right, is that a motion?
this, I don't know what the motion is at this point in time.
To hire Jody?
We hired Jody Aspinito, that's the motion. I second it.
Was that your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Now, since we have a first and second, Bill, I just want to address your point there.
Yeah.
Because if you have a lot of people, like the county clerk, okay, you're right, they do,
They
you
appoint their
know,
own.
they appoint their own, but here we're not gonna have enough people to choose from, you know what
Well,
I'm saying?
I know that.
But it could cause a problem in the
It could
future.
cause a problem, you know, that's what's in the book.
But doesn't that make sense? I mean.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
And like, there's a lot of controversy over those things sometimes.
Yeah.
I'd like a motion to go into closed session to discuss it.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Breezedale,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
Williams,
No.
Sidwell,
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4 to 2. 4 yes.
Everybody gets to leave the building, but. Okay, my recommendation for the new clerk is Marla Hobson. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
Breezedale,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sidwell,
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
All right, next thing,
Easter egg hunt.
you have a donation for Easter egg hunt we looked up today. Last year we gave $100.
Yeah.
If you want to do the same, do a motion.
Make a motion,
Second it.
just keep doing $100.
Breezedale,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sidwell,
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Ho-
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
Any motion to approval of the bills?
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
We want to match your $100.
The village can do with it as far as add it to the donations for the kids.
Right. We need a motion to accept.
It's $200 more.
Yeah, the Legion, I think Dave Booker Jr. does it. Is he the one who takes care of it? Yeah. We'll let him know that. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Breezedale,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sidwell,
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
Okay, approval of the treasurer's report?
I make a motion.
Second.
Breeze-Courier,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sidwell,
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
Anything else besides the report?
Yeah.
Yep.
The cages, I talked with the city guys and they feel that it'd be better to have someone else actually do the cage install in the vehicles. Rodney, I spoke with him earlier this week, he said he could still do it for $200 per cage. But it's up to you.
I make a motion, we go ahead and put one of the cages in for now, and then we'll deal with the other one at another time. But go ahead and get your squad car done.
All right,
I'll second that.
For $200.
yeah.
Williams, you seconded.
Yes.
Thank you. Breeze-Courier,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sidwell.
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
Pat, you have anything else?
Yeah, I got two things. I got a bid for the cleaning of the water tower on the outside, for $4,700, so we do need to get that mildew and all that off there before it starts eating on the paint, and we have to spend another $50,000 to have it repainted. But I did get contacted by Stonington today. They're gonna do Toby's, or get a bid on Toby's, theirs, and if they do one more, then supposedly there'll be a cheaper rate for 3 towers in the area, because they'll be in the area. So I'm still waiting on that, so I just wanna let you know about that part of it, but I will wait until maybe next meeting to get authorization on, to get the tower done.
What,
See what kind of price.
how much was it, does it want from the start?
4,700, and that was to clean the outside, get all that off the bottom. But I'll wait and see what Stonington gets back with us on, doing multiple towers in the area. And then, last thing I got, mowing season for the mower person. I recommend that they hire George to do mow grass for us. Gary knows where everything needs mowed. And that'll just be seasonal, just the $10 an hour, what we paid before. And that will be just part-time like it was before. Rainy days you won't work. And that, I think we went to October last year or the year before. So I just don't want to be waiting till May to get over the mowing person and then we're stuck.
Can we do that?
High grass.
It's not on the agenda.
What's that?
Can we do that on a mower yet?
I didn't know if
I'm
that.
saying, I don't think we can do that, 'cause it's not on the agenda.
Lift it off.
Right.
Just put on next month.
I'll have to put it in, I'll have to put it in the paper.
That's all I had.
Debbie, you heard it?
No.
Bill?
No.
Spencer?
No.
No.
Okay, Lou Ricardo?
Right. Well, this is about the fourth meeting in a row I've been to before the craziness hit. And 2 meetings ago, we had a lot of people here, and there was a lot of questions. You can only get so much answered in 2 minutes. One of the first ones, I'm gonna try and keep them in the, excuse my language, the piss you off mode. We'll start with the lowest, and we'll go higher. That meeting there, we had half the town, it seemed like, here. No arrangements to try and get anybody in here. They're standing outside trying to yell. They've got people out here tonight trying to talk. When we know we're gonna have a big meeting, is there a possibility that we move all the cars out in the garage or go to the American Legion so people can actually sit and have a good discussion? Or is it some reason we have to sit here like sardines and fight for chairs and people stand in the hallway? Just recommend, ask that question.
Good point.
First question.
Very good point.
I try and answer that best I can, but the best answer I can give you, unfortunately, in the last 3 years that I've been on this board,
Nobody's come here.
we haven't had very many visitors, and I know that's been kind of the mainstay for a long time. Granted, I believe, and I had asked this question before the big meeting, that they had a proposal at one time or something that they'd went and we got the Legion a long time ago. This was long before I was ever on the board, but they had the Legion all set up, and I think they had like 6 people show up or something like
I can
that.
understand that, but that night there, we're all standing outside at 6 o'clock. The meeting starts at 7. I even mentioned it to Pat. How about we all open the damn doors and get the cars out and let people stand there? We don't have to have a chair, but at least everybody can stand there and hear. Instead you have somebody at Cardinal Hill say, what the hell did he say? I mean, granted, nobody comes to the meetings until shit hits the fan. But that night, we all knew people were here, but we didn't accommodate the people.
Do we pay the workers overtime for moving all the vehicles out?
Hell, I'll move them out. Come on, man.
There's liability there.
We're paying the cop, we're paying the chief of police overtime. We're paying him to sit on his ass at home. Excuse the language. Well, at least we work till tonight. I mean, I think people would volunteer, a worker would volunteer to move the truck out. Or y'all come outside with us. I mean, there's ways to make everybody happy. To me, it was like, let's not open the doors because we don't want everybody to hear what's going on or something. I don't know.
I had it set up, that first meeting when we was there, I had the keys, we went over to the township, and they didn't want to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
So what am I gonna do?
I'm not saying, I'm asking the question of everybody because we all wanted to know that night.
They didn't accept what I offered.
Okay.
It was never ever brought to my attention.
I talked to Cindy there that day, and she said she'd talked to Flanagan, and they didn't want to go with it, so I said, hell, okay.
Don't get me involved in it.
I don't make any decisions whatsoever.
We just passed the $100. We're gonna keep passing the buck.
The fact of the matter is.
No, I'm not passing the buck.
No, I know, but I mean, everybody's got.
Did you come and ask me?
Huh?
Did you talk to me?
You wasn't here, how could she was the only one that was here.
You don't know where I live. You don't know my phone number.
Usually our meetings,
I understand. I've been to them where it's been me, Chocolate, Shannon, Lisa, and maybe Pete Pagelli. I understand.
and our meeting, and what time did you get here then?
Yeah.
At 10 till 7, and there were plenty of room.
But it was
So, I
like
mean-
it was like a mosh pit when you guys came in. You saw people in the parking lot. If you didn't, you're Ray Charles. Y'all are blind. We saw everybody out there, but nobody made an arrangement to let anybody talk. We all got 2 minutes because that was a polite thing to do. Thank you. But there was a lot of people out in the hallways. There was a lot of people out in the yard, the roads. Nobody got to hear what was said. We opened panels and windows. People opened doors. We're trying to repeat. Then we're interfering with you guys talking because we're telling them what they said. I'm just saying, everybody saw people standing out there from 6 o'clock on, and nobody made a damn effort to let people in. This is my opinion.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got more. Like I said, it's a piss off. We were going to go higher. An easy
Part of
one.
the meeting.
One of the easy ones that I talked to Pat about. I know Facebook is a bad thing because everybody in town gets on there. But we can make Facebook a good thing. Months ago, I talked to you guys about Richard. Nobody knew that he picked up a girl at 6 in the morning and had to take her to school. I asked that, hey, the county sheriff puts all these statistics in the paper once a month. Can we possibly do that?
May I interrupt this way? When you say we told you, you didn't tell me anything.
You was at the meeting, I asked the question.
Oh, okay.
Can we get statistics from Kincaid,
Oh,
please,
I
in the
remember
paper?
that.
Nobody ever got an answer because the next meeting was crazy. So I'm asking, can we have a Facebook page of the Kincaid that puts water statistics down? Puts down Kincaid cop statistics, how many tickets they wrote, curfew's supposed to be here. I know you're gonna get the crazy people comments, but maybe we keep that to a minimum or not even allow comments on something like that.
Well, we used to have our own website, and you know that. We
Yeah.
used to, and they didn't want to pay for it anymore.
I'm saying Facebook's free.
Yeah, I know.
And for Pat to put statistics down, for you to put the agendas out on the Facebook, for Seth to say how many tickets was wrote this month, how much was this, that would help a lot of people too. Then people will get more involved because they can see it. Because if cost was an issue, which we talked about that night, it might be $100 to put it in the paper. Is that worth it? No. But if we can come up with free media, why not something like that? Just something to all think about. And now, this is the one that probably set the world on fire. We got rid of Cindy last month. I think it was sad that we aired our laundry out on TV and the newspapers. Okay? If she was bad of what we heard that night, how many times was she warned? How many written counselings was she given? Then, once we got her threw her under the bus, they went after Pat. Oh, you work on your monster truck, you do this. People make comment, well, I've been in here 6 hours, and this is what happens. If people are in here, whether it be Bill Davis, Doug, Spencer, or Bill, you're here 6 hours and you see her babysitting, or you see him working on a truck, and you know what's wrong, how many people warned them? You just fire people? That's a question that everybody in the street had. How many warnings did you give her? How many counselings did you give her? I was in the Navy for 20 years, and I'm an exec at the state. And let me tell you what, it takes an act of Congress to fire people, unless you've got tons and tons of counseling. How many times was she counseled? I never had a problem with her, but I'm not saying Tanya didn't have a problem with her. I'm not saying that. But if there was this big problem, why wasn't that done in closed session? Hell, you just talked about a $15 an hour job, but we fired somebody on TV.
We did ask to go into closed and they wouldn't do it. So that's,
I'm just,
I mean, it was asked, I'm just saying.
I
It
mean,
asked to
was
go
there
in.
any counseling
It
ever
should
on this
never been out
board?
in the air like that.
Was there ever a counseling sheet?
No.
Was there ever
There was
anything?
never any warnings or anything given.
But you could fire at will. But we have a chief of police that's being investigated, we're afraid of being sued. Until tonight, we're gonna put him on unpaid leave. But for that night, we could have fired his ass.
I made a motion.
I
I made a
understand.
motion, buddy.
I know it, boy, that made the news.
I don't care.
We fired the wrong person.
If
was
I
what you
could make a
said.
motion right now and fire him, I'd fire him right now.
But you see what we're all talking about, but nobody out in the street, nobody at Cardinal Hill got to say that. So everybody's talking, so I did, I wrote down all the notes. And once again, nobody can say we counseled her, we just fired her. I mean, that's not taking care of her own in Kincaid. If she was that screwed up, something should have been done earlier, you warned somebody.
There is a 6-step process, but it wasn't taken.
There you go.
Not one of them.
I mean, this is just questions that nobody wants answered. Y'all sitting here now, nobody still wants to.
I'll make a comment. If you don't do your job, you're out of here.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
Is that everybody?
No, I'm just saying, if a person doesn't do their job, and the village you people don't know, there's a lot of things that was hush-hush in there, and you can ask the committee, every one of these guys here, her too, know there was a lot of hush-hush things that went on, and we didn't find out till a lot later.
Okay, I understand that.
So, that's what I'm saying. There was nothing wrong with it.
Okay. But perception is, she went after the board for the Breeze-Courier incident, and then she got fired. And the chief of police, who got arrested for something else, or he had been arrested but not convicted, he's drawing $65,000 a year.
And it came out that Bill's wife's the one who told the Breeze-Courier.
There you
Nice
go.
guy.
I mean,
Bill's wife, did you go home and jump her shit? I bet not.
Let me read you something on Richard. And I don't know why we don't get rid of it.
I
We don't talk about
Huh?
Richard.
No.
I'd like to know.
I'm tired of people being put down in this room in open session the way you do things. That is wrong. It was completely wrong what you did to that girl.
Well, that's tough shit, ain't it?
It is, because you need to resign yourself.
Yeah, what are you still sitting there for?
Yeah.
Speaking of who
Us
needs
the
to
people want
resign.
you out.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Then there's the door. You want me to open it? I'll open it for you.
Let's take private notes on who needs to resign tonight.
Hey, y'all get on the, wait a minute, y'all get on the agenda to do your time, this is my time. I had 2 minutes and I got cut off by Laura because my 2 minutes was up, correct?
I apologize.
I think you've
I
had
understand, but I'm just,
No, that's
What else you got?
I'd like to know an answer. So we're gonna put it on Facebook and I'll read it. The last one is, this is pretty simple, even though y'all went, oh, go ahead.
I think you've had your 2 minutes, so really.
I don't have 2 minutes tonight.
He's on the agenda.
It's on the end of the night.
Alzheimer's kicked in.
Now, y'all wanted a closed session about the city clerk. I know I posted on Facebook, I sent it to Bill, I've tagged everybody possible who could read it. Y'all made your decisions, but being a budget analyst for the state, I know that when you come off the street, you start making $11 an hour, and that's good money. $15 an hour is awesome money. I even put on there, if you live in Kincaid, you make $15 an hour in Kincaid, that's worth at least $17 to $18 an hour in Springfield because you're saving on gas, wear and tear and such. I said, hey, we're paying Pat money to run water bills. He can come in at 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock and take care of all the water bills. The new city clerk can come in at 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock with a half-hour lunch. You're covered from 8 to 4. If we're worried about money, Can't you have 2 cash drawers? He does his cash drawers from 8 to 10. When it's done, he locks it up and that's it. She does hers from 10 to 4. You lock up at 4 o'clock. They combine it
But it
together.
still doesn't solve the problem. He's getting paid to do the street department at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean,
He's
if
doing
we're
both jobs, getting paid to do both. Doing one job at a time, he's getting paid both salaries.
okay, but the city clerk's going to come in and do the same thing, get paid.
She only has one job. He has 2. He gets paid for the street department and for the water, both 2 paychecks. At the same time he's working in here, is what I got at.
But I thought that he got paid because he had the license.
No, there's 2 separate things. One is for doing the water bills and the other is for his license. They're 2 separate things.
Okay, but as a city employee, you can't tell me that from 8 to 10 when it's rain, there's no street work to do, he can't collect the money?
I'm not saying that,
Okay,
no.
I mean,
No,
that's what I'm,
I'm just saying it don't rain every day.
but they don't work every day, 8 to 10 out on the
We're
street.
just paying for 2 jobs. One only.
According to
one
the
getting
paper, they're
done.
working at Richard's house. So if he was collecting a paycheck, then we wouldn't have that problem. I mean, there's ways around it, but y'all don't want to listen to damn ways around it. We want to argue about it. But my 2 minutes is up.
Good job, Woody.
Bobby Morris.
Yeah.
bud.
I want to know about the bowling hall. Want to sell it.
I don't have an issue either way. Doesn't matter to me. If you wanna get rid of it, get rid of it.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. It doesn't cost us anything as other than our fees for lawyer and paperwork, right?
Yeah.
So, but in order to sell that, it has to be listed and bid on openly, correct?
Not necessarily. There are ways, and we over the years, we've done it a lot of different ways, but I would suggest that if the Board of Trustees, if the Board of Trustees are interested in doing that, then I would come back at the next meeting and show you the ways, what I would
control fees.
yeah, what I would consider in this particular situation is basically just call that property surplusage property by statute. You can look it up, and there's a procedure we follow, and that's usually the cheapest way to get it transferred to a third party. Okay, that's what I would recommend to the board
Now, that would
tonight.
be the price too?
What's that?
That would be the price on it too?
Well, the price, I don't know what
That's
price.
what I'm saying.
I'll have to look up and see what everything has been charged to the other guy, why he turned over and how much the liens were and everything that we have on him.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I have all that in the other
Yeah, we get back to you
To the
on
file.
all of that stuff. And then everything's negotiable, right, folks? That's, I don't know, I haven't been by there lately, but it was an eyesore, but.
Still is.
Yeah, it's gonna take work.
It's in bad shape.
Right.
And Pat, if you could get the guys to please pick up the mattress, it's been laying there for 3 weeks and I'd appreciate it.
I also want to talk about the sidewalk.
Okay.
Want to know why I hadn't got paid yet.
Pat, you want to tell him?
I knew you was going to throw him under the bus.
No, I said.
It
the
has
same
nothing
thing.
to do with him, Doug, you know that. It
Yes,
has
sir.
nothing to do with him.
He takes care of the motor fuel tax money.
Okay?
That's
So
where it comes out of.
Who's going to pay me?
Nobody, because you were told we could not do it and we will
I
not
told you,
reimburse.
I told you when I got a permit built on that property, that I was going to do the sidewalks, and you told me to let you know.
That's
And I
right.
let you know.
And when you let me know, I told you there was no funds available till the next year.
And I told you that next year you could pay me. That's what I told you.
I said, we do not do that. We have never reimbursed and we've
Well,
never
somebody owes
done
me
that.
some money, and you know it.
You can say what you want, but you were told, and so was whoever poured the concrete the day he came in here. Am I wrong, Pat?
Dennis?
Yes. He was told the exact same thing, that it cannot be
Somebody owes
poured
me
and
some
we
money.
would not reimburse.
That's a city sidewalk, ain't it? Is that a city sidewalk?
And it was tore up by who?
And it was replaced, wasn't it?
That's right.
So you
By
owe me
the person
money.
that tore it up.
So you owe me money.
No.
Yeah, you do.
In the subject.
How much was it?
$1,000 is what you owe me.
We've always,
We don't ever reimburse.
here's the
people
deal,
because
we've
the
always
funds.
either paid for the labor to tear it out, or we paid for the concrete, one or
That's
the
what
other.
they told me. That's what they told me.
So if we owe you $1,000, I'll make a motion that we pay you that money back.
Thank you.
I don't think we better make a motion on that.
Thank you.
Because it's not on the agenda. We
It is
have no-
too, sidewalk
Yes, it is.
reimbursement.
Oh, it is on there.
Yes, sir.
But you
I mean,
need to
this
read
now-
the rules.
Huh?
You need to read the rules of what you're getting ready to do. There are rules to follow
I know that.
under the motor fuel tax.
Yeah,
You
Wayne,
know the rules.
the contractor told me that it was gonna be paid for, so.
Now, as far as the contractor, you had somebody,
Wayne Amos.
was that your labor and,
The labor was 1,000 and the concrete was 1,000.
okay.
I got the bill right here.
Can we see that bill?
You sure can.
How many yards did you have, Bob?
Huh?
How many yards?
It was 9.
Do we have a second,
I'll second that.
Second before discussion,
Okay.
please.
okay. Dan, everything
That we
else?
paid.
I didn't look at it.
75 foot long.
That's on Richardson Street.
Nobody contacted us about that. See, that's what I'm saying. That's one of them hush-hush deals again.
Now.
How much do we have a year? Does anybody know, is there a certain amount allowed a year?
That's what we just passed.
Yeah, they take out to put up a
We'll allow our.
I thought we had to redo it since you put the new one in.
concrete up there. You guys keep
Wait,
it
hold on.
over.
Did you want, pass that down and let everybody see that?
We don't get.
See, he showed me
There's-
Have trees, sidewalks, roads.
There was this 4 inches thick. I believe it, because like I said, I know how much concrete costs. Right. Well, see, the only thing I took section out all the wire line, and then they had to put water main in. Right. So thank you.
I paid for mine.
Is there anything in writing that says that we don't back pay on sidewalks or something we have to go off of? That's what I'm asking. Do we have?
Pat, I'm telling you, there's a whole list of rules.
What is it?
Would Butterfield will pay for sidewalks as long as they're not tore out by.
Well, general revenue pay for it.
Or whatever, if the homeowner tore it out for, say, a water.
Tore it up,
line,
working on their house, then they have to replace it.
The track hole busted all up, or somebody just wants a new sidewalk just because they want a sidewalk. Right.
It was in bad
Right.
shape because when the city took the tree out, it ripped it up. So somebody was gonna fall on it, okay? It had to be replaced.
So, I mean, there's guidelines as far as, the way we always done it, is we go look. I mean, we got sidewalks in town that's bad. And if somebody just wants it just because they want a new sidewalk in front of the house, it ain't happening. If it's just.
You said they came over and looked, right?
Uh,
Before you done it, you said they came over and looked at it?
Yes, yep, he's seen it. He knows what it's looked like. Pat did.
Do you have it in mind?
How much of it was bad, Pat?
Well, there was one section missing that was for the water line.
Yeah,
He said he took that
put
out.
the water main in.
They put a new water line into their house. There was, what, sidewalk under the driveway?
Yes.
And then, since they put the new modular in, there's no driveway to the front of the house anymore. So what he done was, my understanding is you went all the way across the front.
Yes, I went all the way across and joined the other side.
Joined the other sidewalk, so basically right where the old driveway was, and hopefully under the rock was the sidewalk.
There was sidewalk there.
I mean, I didn't go officially go there and scrape the rock off the sidewalk, off the driveway, to see if there was a thing there, so. As far as, did the track hole busted all up or whatever? Yay, nay, good. You know, when the
No,
house,
they
when the
didn't.
house, when the house
I can
burned,
tell you that. Nothing was busted up in there.
you know, that's. We either do pay for the concrete or the labor.
Labor,
We do
right.
labor or
concrete.
we pay
Right.
for concrete.
For that section that was taken out, like I said, I'm willing to take $800 because I took it out to do the water line, and then they had to put a water main in, so they're just gonna have to take it out anyway. You know, I come up here and showed him the bill, or Wayne Ames come up there and showed him the bill, and he threw it back at him, so you know, this is awesome. This is awesome.
I got confronted about it from Wayne Amos also,
So you asking for 8 or you asking for 1,000?
Just give me $800. I'm fine with that.
I'll make a motion 800 then.
It won't be
That's
able
what
to
it-
come out until we get a new one, just letting you know that.
Pay him out, pay cash, I don't care.
Motor fuel.
The only doubt, whenever he asked earlier, Doug, you said, the way I took it from what he asked you about it, you said we don't have money in it for now, so was we,
We have to wait
if
till
we
the
would've
next
had
motor
money,
fuel tax.
if we would've had money, would we have paid for it?
We would have done half of it, yes.
Okay.
But there was extra concrete
But
poured.
you did not say that, Doug. You said you wasn't paying for it. That's what you said to me.
After Bobby, after I told you.
My name ain't Bobby, my name's Bob to you.
Well, whenever he asked you, that's what you said, and that's why I was wanting to know. So we did look at it, and we did,
And they were told we didn't have the money for it, the sidewalk money was gone. There was none. There's only so much for sidewalks, so much for trees.
well, I
so
know
much for
that,
roads.
and because he asked me and I asked you, and that's why I went back and told him.
Yes. And
The
I
money
told
was
him.
gone, you couldn't do it, and then Doug
Until
told me,
next spring.
Doug told me that we couldn't back pay either, once it's done, you can't, because that's what he told me, that's what I told you, right? But what I'm saying is.
So you told him the same thing?
Yeah, because I came and asked you, not, you met me at the gas station, but what I'm saying is, the way you said it a minute ago, is we didn't have the money for it, so if we would've had the money, would we have paid the whole $1,000?
But yes, but he was told we didn't have it and we couldn't do it until the next motor fuel tax was coming up.
His answer really
Is what it was.
Okay, no, I know exactly what you said, 'cause you told me the same thing you told me then. You would've paid it, but we didn't have it, and we can't backdate it.
Okay, Bill Davis has amended his motion, correct, Bill?
Yeah,
And that is to do what?
to make it 800, that's what I just asked him.
Okay.
He said he'd take 800, so that's fine.
Danny, you had the second.
Yes, I'll make the
You
second
amended
on
your
800.
motion also to be
Yes.
consistent with Bill's? Okay, so we have a first and a second. If there's any more discussion, let's hear it. From the trustees.
You said there's rules, you saying we can't pay it, I mean, what,
I'm not saying nothing now. I'm not, I'll let you guys do what you want to do. You
Well,
want
if
to
you know
vote?
the rules, then you should say it, that's what your job is.
What I just say. It ain't my job, it's the sidewalk committee man right there. Mr. Bill Davis.
I know, but if you guys all you guys want to do is argue, why can't you guys
Mine.
come together and, I mean, it's like you guys, you want to not tell them stuff and they don't want to tell you. You guys
Because
are
they
working
don't
for
want
us.
to know, they don't come and
Well,
ask
We want to
questions.
know and the public
shouldn't
wants to
have
know.
to.
And I
That's
told
what
you.
you guys are all voting,
I
so
told
if you
you.
know the
Okay,
rules, say it.
okay,
That's
let's,
it.
hey, we're,
Vote, let's vote.
but Pat, Doug, I did ask.
you have it whenever we get to that time, okay?
Can you help me out on that, is there,
We are not supposed to back pay, no, we are not. That is the rule, we've never done it. People have been up here for trees before to get back paid after they've been cut down, and we could not do it. Rule. Telling you right front.
Okay,
It's been denied before, so that's all I'm telling you.
Let's vote on it.
Beverly, take a roll call, please.
Yes.
Breeze-Courier,
No.
Davis,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sidwell.
Yes.
Corbett,
Yes.
Hogan,
no,
motion passed.
Gina Watson. Gina?
I do have a few questions from the meeting that went crazy. And last board meeting, whenever they was talking about hiring a new clerk, they said it wasn't gonna be any family of trustees. And I was wanting to make sure that's gonna be the policy of the trustees now, or the board not to hire family members.
I think Denny said he, the best qualified, is what Denny said.
No, you guys said no family members.
I think it was mentioned, but then Denny said best qualified.
Because we've already had people that are hard and, we didn't change our policy. If we want our relative or whatever that goes through, that's fine.
At the board meeting, they said no family.
No, I brought it up. One member said yes, and then everyone else spoke up, is what I understood, and said the best qualified.
Because we even asked, would you have to be from Kincaid, and they said, well, for somebody, we prefer that.
No, they said that when they said that, as far as
I remember all
best
that.
qualified.
Yeah.
But I did hear them say that they weren't gonna hire family. And I think that's a really good policy. I don't think families should be hired of any trustees anymore. And also, it was brought up that Cindy had kids behind the desk and on the computer, and that wasn't right. And it was brought up that maybe Doug was up here too much sometimes. For the last month, I was wondering why some of the trustees have been sitting up here behind the desk for hours at a time, visiting. I mean, you tell some people they can't and some they can, or you guys do. I think that might be a conflict of interest too.
Can you be more specific? I don't understand what you're asking.
I'm asking why, if I come up here to pay my water bill, that Mr. Davis or Mr. Williams or Mr. Corbett are sitting up here behind the desk just visiting and talking. When it was brought up that Cindy shouldn't have her kids back here because only employees are supposed to be behind the desk, I was under the assumption.
We're trustees, we're allowed to be in here.
That still doesn't give you a right to be up here sitting for hours on time.
Are you timing us or what? Are you sitting across the street or watch or what?
Yeah, I have
Timing
been
us,
kind of
okay.
trying to keep an eye, because you guys pick and choose who you're going to say this is right and this is wrong.
I have an answer for that one. If they have an accident here on the property, they're covered. Anyone up here that's not an employee would not be covered by insurance. Right, Doug?
Yes, and 3 people at a time in here is a meeting if they're discussing anything about the village is illegal. That comes to the Open Meeting Act again.
Okay, then, you guys also discussed, the village employees worked on Richard's house and he was on administrative leave for misconduct. But Pat said that he has worked on other trustees, other citizens, and their own stuff here, and nothing was said about that. Mr. Davis told him not to worry about that.
What small towns do.
I know, but what I'm saying
It's
is,
been going on for years, and
I know
and
it.
you can shut down. Taylorville's already passed out a letter saying that no favoritism already, because every small town does
I
it.
know it. I think it's nice living in a small town that you can do that. All I'm saying is, you say Richard can't, but the other ones can. And I'm just saying, you guys need to start being fair and quit picking and choosing who you're going to say this isn't right or that ain't right. I think it'd be great if I had walked there and one of the city guys come by and said, they had a big truck, and I said, hey, can you guys push this? I think it'd be great if they could do that for me. But it's gonna be to the point now that the village employees can't do anything for anybody.
Every village around here had to stop because they make a point out of us. Every town.
Called official misconduct.
And also, I was wanting to know if Pat was asked if he wanted to give up the water bills, and if he wanted to give up the $450 he's getting to do them. Everything seems to be going all right with Pat doing it. Why do you want to get rid of Pat doing it? And does Pat want to give up the $450? Did anybody ask Pat if he wanted to give it up?
Yes, I did.
And he said, yeah, did he want to give up the $450?
He needs to be out there with drones in the shop.
Let Pat answer that.
My answer to what?
Go for it.
Well, you know, this is all starting to get crazy because, you know, I've never said that I was gonna give up the water. They asked me if they get another clerk, would I go out to the street department? My answer was, I am not gonna take a pay cut. Because if I gotta take a pay cut to go out to the street department, they will be looking for another water operator. That is the water operator for EPA, not the water clerk's job. And I can tell you right now, you're not gonna find one for what I'm doing it for. Why should I be penalized? Why am I getting thrown under the bus when all this is coming down?
That's why I want to know. It seems like it's been going pretty good, so why are they wanting to change it?
Now
We
it's just
never
getting to be a
said
pissing
anything
match.
about changing his pay.
Yeah, you did.
I'm not gonna take a pay, and I talked to Bill. Bill
Yeah.
asked me about it. Why should I lose a pay cut? I didn't do anything wrong. But if I do gotta take a pay cut to go out to that street department and give up this job that I've been doing since Wanda Peasy was here many years ago, that I took over for half of what she was getting, then I don't wanna be the water operator. I will be the street department foreman.
Okay, does that answer your question, ma'am? Does that answer your question?
No, it doesn't, because I
Okay.
wanna know if the village
Okay.
clerk ends up taking over the water bills. And you said that 450 was for Pat's license and 450 was for doing the water bill.
I think that
I don't
what this
think
board
they've
acted
already-
on today, and you were here, they hired a clerk indicating that she was going to assume clerk duties and that they would address that issue later on. Am I right, trustees, as far as what additional duties she has taken place? So you'll have to stay tuned, you know, over the next 90 days on what they do, if anything, with regard to that. Is that fair, trustees? Isn't that what you decided tonight?